Gen Z!
Gen Z, a generation that's never known a world without internet.
Without the internet, I really don't know how they survive. I was born in an internet generation.
They are digital natives.
The first ever smartphone I got was 11 years old.
Having it from the age of 10, I'm just so used to it.
Who may just surprise you.
So I'm kind of skeptical when buying things online. I prefer going to the mall.
Gen Zs, in a way, it mirrors the older generation, but probably for slightly different reasons.
Be it at play,
I don't drink a lot. I don't think I will ever get drunk.
This is not a rebellious generation. This is a deeply socially conscious generation.
or at work.
My Gen Z friends, everyone's really focused and determined.
I think they are one of the hardest working generations out there.
Generation Z is shaking up the status quo.
So you constantly need to be upping your game.
I feel that I have to earn their attention. Otherwise, you will end up talking to zombies.
Hi, I'm Shania. I'm 20 years old and I'm from the bustling city of Mumbai.
Jolene, 22 years old, at Lion City, Singapore.
Hi, I'm Jericho, 21 years old, from awesome Manila.
Telling us all about being Generation Z, our Gen Z buddies. Or should we say, Gen Z fam.
Fam is a slang that Gen Z uses. It might sound like family, but actually fam is a statement or like a term used for a friend, someone you consider close or inner circle. Like you'd say something like, I got you, fam.
Well, fam or no fam, here's what you need to know about our Gen Zs. First up, Jolene, part of the first wave of Gen Zs who've already gotten jobs.
I'm currently working in a digital marketing agency called Happy Marketer. We actually just got acquired by Dentsu Asia's network about a few months back. That was when we actually moved to a really cool high-rise building right in the middle of CBD in Singapore.
A new office and time for a new challenge too. Jolene wants to push herself further.
Morning, Dolly. So I'm already working for 2 years and I'm shifting in role from the finance team to the training team, so it's pretty exciting. I've been in this transition of job about 3 months now. I'll be having my quarterly reviews soon with my boss and I'm really curious how he would think of me actually.
With ambitions of his own, Jericho. He hopes his dreams will finally take flight.
I'm currently doing my training for PALX, a budget-friendly local airline, part of Philippine Airlines. I originally lived in Quezon City, but it's too far from the PALX training center. So I rented out a small room near the training center together with 2 of flight attendants or my batchmates.
So this is our room, just a tiny studio-type room. Can you believe we're 3 guys sharing this tiny room? All I see above me are clothes and luggages, so that's something I can get used to it.
One thing that Jericho's certainly gotten used to is hard work. The stakes are high and he knows it.
This is a really huge move for me because it's my first time to leave home. The pressure is really high because my parents are really expecting a lot from me at my final stage of my training. So it's really important to pass the exam. Then, once we contract sign, we will have our first commercial flight. I never rode an airplane ever. I never traveled. I never been to airport before. Nobody in my family has flown before. They are really excited for me because one of the perks of being a cabin crew is you will have a free ticket for your family. So they are really looking forward for that.
And then there's Shania, who, like Jericho, is at a crucial crossroad in life, doing what it takes to make it.
I'm pursuing my mass media in St. Xavier's College and I've opted for a major in advertising. I'm in my final semester, which is super scary. Now it's like you're actually thinking like, okay, what next? Because you're going into the world. I'm sort of looking at working or interning for a year or two, and then I plan to do my master's. India is going through an economic slowdown right now, and as I'm going to be looking for job opportunities, it does worry me that the competition is going to be up to the neck, and it scares me. Another article on the Indian economic slowdown just 3 hours ago, which means once I graduate and I want to find work post-college, it's going to be really tough. It's going to be tough looking for a job because it's not just the economic slowdown I'm fighting against. It's my competitive peers from Gen Z. Broadly, that's what I do.
Yes, loads of competitive peers. 2019 is the year Gen Zs overtake Millennials as the largest generation on the planet. But who exactly qualifies as Gen Z?
I get this asked quite a lot.
That's D'Angelo. He's with one of the world's biggest recruitment firms tracking Gen Z.
I get this asked quite a lot. So Gen Z's the generation that comes after Millennials. It's anyone sort of born between 95 and 2009. So the easy way to sort of think about it is your oldest ones being around 24, your youngest being around 10. So Gen Z's are your youngest workforce generation coming into play.
They are called iGens.
That's Kylie, who's with another top global recruiter with an eye on Gen Z.
They are called iGens, iGenerations, or even people call them like post-millennials. But usually, commonly, what we know is Gen Z.
The Oxford Dictionary defines the word Generation Z.
The generation reaching adulthood in the second decade of the 21st century.
Perceived as being familiar with the internet from a very young age.
It's funny, but it's true. Sometimes we are chatting each other even though we are in the same room.
I guess that's who we are. Most of us are inclined to do something more on the laptop or an app.
All I know is internet, nothing else. I was born in an internet generation.
So Gen Z's, they're digital natives. They were born into technology, they were born into internet. 95 is when the internet was first commercialized. It's also when we are sort of saying Gen Z is born and beginning to take over this generation.
I would say they are very, very much, instead of tech-savvy, they are more towards the tech natives. Because millennials, they see through technology changes, so they are more towards the adapting of new technologies.
Millennials kind of sit on this boxy computer and try to access our homework or access different web pages to research things, while Gen Z are just kind of on the fly on their devices, consuming information and consuming content on the internet at speeds, unfortunately, millennials didn't have the advantage of.
Yes, the need for speed. High-speed data is what Gen Zs know.
Huh?
As for dial-up internet...
I never heard before.
It's the phone where you used to go round and round and punch in the numbers and then maybe you did it. I'm not sure.
I'm not really that familiar with that sound.
What do you think it is?
I think it's a phone call.
It's dial-up internet.
Okay. No, I've never heard of it. I know what speed dial is, but not dial-up internet.
Fire engine. Ambulance. I only know the front is that one is a phone lah.
Okay, so dial-up internet is certainly alien to Gen Zs. And when it comes to devices, smartphones are what Gen Zs have always had.
My first smartphone is actually secondary school, about 13 years old. So I'm consistently checking my phone. Work, no work, play, social media, game, checking out on the internet for some random stuff. I'm probably spending 1 hour to work, 1 hour home, and maybe 4 to 5 hours a day. And yeah, I haven't counted before I sleep and when I wake up, maybe 6 hours. Oh my god, that's 1/4 of the day.
Right now I have 2 phones because it's hard for me to dispose my previous phone, so I just kept it, used it for music. So multi-purpose. My other phone is for calling or texting and for internet. The first ever smartphone I got was 11 years old. Yeah, now I'm 21 years old, so I think I roughly had 11 or 12 phones. It's like every year I change phones.
It's addictive. Actually came to a point where I downloaded this app called Screen Time and I literally uninstalled it because I was so horrified with the results. I was on the phone for a good 5 hours or more. We're just used to the fast speed of internet. Whenever you're looking for something, you want it right now. Sometimes you want instant everything.
Gen Zers have a shorter attention span before they totally tune out to anything. Instant gratification does seem to define Gen Zs in a big way. Whether that's just hitting a button and being able to have your favorite product come in the next 2 hours, whether that's ordering your food and having that come in 20 or 30 minutes. So it's created a generation where having to wait for something is not very cool.
In a way, this will make them, expect results immediately, like a snap and a flicker.
Keeping Gen Z engaged is one big headache. Be it in classrooms shaping the workforce of the future, or in offices where success will increasingly hinge on these digital natives.
So basically, managers right now, they are very used to, managing baby boomers, millennials, but not so much of Gen Z. With Gen Z coming into the industry now, and more over the years, I think the mentality or the work methods of managers have to change, have to adapt accordingly to them. Managers should not ignore them because they are the next batch of future generations. Also, it can be a challenge to colleges or universities as well.
A lot of head scratching is happening, and this is from even your millennial bosses, even myself. I'm still figuring it out, and I'm the closest generation to them, and I feel like they're a completely different species. It's a lot of trial and error. At the moment, it is just shooting in the dark, applying what seems to be working, throwing out what doesn't. So generational generalizations, there's definitely some truth to it, but no one has cracked the code, so to speak, just yet. But it's sometimes half the fun in kind of figuring out what that is.
And to crack the Gen Z code, you'll need some creative ideas.
Personally, I feel that I have to earn their attention. Otherwise, you will end up talking to zombies.
Gen Zs are the world's future workforce. The burning question, how do you keep an easily distracted generation fired up? No easy answers there. At PalX, it's meant big changes at their training school.
Okay, crouch down. Now you are inside the flight deck.
So one of my favorite classes would be the VR game. It's the aircraft familiarization. It's really important because you can use this to save someone's life in the future in case of emergency.
Okay, cabin crew arm slides. Get the safety pin.
So I think it really did work for us. We really enjoyed so much that time.
90% of our new cabin crew are Gen Z. And to adapt to them, we have overhauled our training program. We've recently introduced VR, and because they're digital natives and they learn differently, we introduced it just this year, and we've been successful so far in attracting them and in training them.
So one of the things we need to do is to tell the passengers what to do in an emergency and also how to use the seat belts and all that stuff.
We've also overhauled the duration and length of the training. Before, our training program was around 90 days. It didn't work quite well with Gen Zs, and now we've compressed it to 36 days because though their attention spans might seem shorter, they're very focused, are quite intelligent, and absorb things a lot quicker.
So it drops out like this, and you need to show them how to grab and pull it.
Personally, I feel that I have to earn their attention. I need to be more concise and almost to the point of sometimes being evangelical the way I deliver my message so that I will hold their attention. It's a way to wake them up because they get sleepy sometimes. Otherwise, you will end up talking to zombies.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Making sure they pay attention also means the biggest distraction must be banished to the back of the class.
When we enter the class, we are not allowed to use our phones. So we will place our phones in our bags, the silent mode are turned off, and we put it in the back corner to make sure that we are focused with the subject or with the lecture.
With no phones around, keeping the focus takes some effort.
I'll give you 2 minutes. I want you to list all dangerous goods items that you know. The most number of dangerous goods wins, okay? On your mark. Ready, set, go. Cheer, cheer, cheer.
Here, a bit of old-fashioned fun does the trick.
We're introduce relay games just to put up their energy or some other fun games for them. Millennials, they could keep still. With the Gen Z, they try their very best to project an image of listening, but you could see they get very fidgety. It is really a challenge, and it keeps us improvising our teaching techniques on how to top their comprehension because they're highly intelligent, actually.
And not just in Manila. Tearing Gen Zs away from their phones is a challenge playing out at Chennai's Mumbai College as well.
So I feel that we are so engrossed and used to our phones that we are so lazy and become incapable of even typing an entire sentence. We have autocorrect for that.
Have any of y'all been caught for like a fine using your phone?
No, never.
I've spent $1,000 in this college just because my phone rang twice.
It's not about the teachers teaching us. I think we should take the first step and put our phones aside and say that we have to study.
But it has to come from us also. Like some of the teachers, they tell us like you put your phone in a drop box, okay, when you enter.
We're coming up with that. Are y'all coming up with that too?
So what they said was, when you enter the class, put your phone in that box. If you keep it and we do find you, we're going to fine you.
My
and that just
friends
makes
are
it more
talking
scary.
about bringing decoys.
Phone deposit boxes won't go down well with our digital natives. But a bit of creative humor might soften the blow, perhaps.
Our teachers were kind of offended that we use phones during lectures, so she got these phone deposit boxes made and we were asked to paint them considering some kind of theme. So the theme that we came up with was places where we can't retrieve anything from, like if you're gone, you just disappeared. This is Area 51. The other themes are Bermuda Triangle, Black Hole.
We need to use our phones to download PDF files, maybe go through notes, research. I don't know how it's going to turn out, but let's see.
No, I don't think it's going to work. People will figure out a way to still use their phones.
Our average class strength is 60 and this has 52 compartments. So they'll be lucky if you get to keep their phones. And when people see them, they'll ask for their phones back.
And you hope to be the lucky few?
Definitely.
See, we have a long tradition of 150 years, and if we have to keep the standards up, we have to have discipline in place. You can use your phone if needed and if asked by the teacher. But in class, you're supposed to be listening to the teachers. So if you are going to be on your phone, you're missing out, losing out on something else.
In class, I really like when they involve us, maybe group discussions, debates.
They should go towards other topics that aren't in the course based on not only what they have to teach, but on what knowledge we should know.
I want all of you guys to put thoughts together as to what are the 3 or the top 4 things that make for a damn good story.
There's a lot of pressure on the teachers. You can't have a generation of kids who are not ready to take up the jobs or ready for industry because this is the workforce that's going to define tomorrow. I think it's also important to have multiple formats of teaching in class, whether sometimes it's one of the kids presenting, sometimes it becomes a group discussion, because that's when they get thinking, right? And that's the point.
I want all of you guys to put some thought, okay?
It is not formula driven. I make my own course content because the examples you gave 5 years back have become redundant even today. So you constantly need to be upping your game and talking about what's happening today. Yeah, that's a big, big difference.
Away from the classrooms, Gen Zs are shaking things up in offices too. Bosses better get used to some Gen Z quirks.
The millennials and probably the Gen X people can't really multitask as much as us. To us, Gen Z, multitasking is something very common. So when somebody asks you something and you're doing your work, they actually know that I'm listening to them, but I'm not looking at them. When I'm multitasking something on the computer, Mela will come over and then be like, Jolene, can you do this for me? And then I'm like, yeah, sure, but I'm still looking at the screen that I'm working at. And then she's like, are you listening? I'm talking to you now, are you listening? Yes, I'm listening, just go on. I'm just using my eyes on the screen and the ears on you.
Yeah, I mean, I was thought like this is like really rude, but in the end, she also actually did what I asked her to do. Jolene is the only Gen Z on the payroll. We do have lots of millennials. We know how to work with millennials. Jolene was the first Gen Z that we hired, and then we also kind of like want to test how to work with the Gen Z. Because in the future, you need to hire more and more Gen Z. It's quite challenging also because they need to be challenged all the time. They want to learn new experience.
Our generation people will get bored very quickly. I was actually in a finance role in Happy Marketer. It's actually because that wasn't the topic I studied. And it's been 2 years and I'm getting bored of whatever I'm doing. It's very repetitive work. So I actually raised my worries or my opinion to my bosses that can I have a change of role, something similar to what I studied.
Jolene, I think she wanted to learn more about digital and she was doing something very back-end. So I think when the opportunity came and she was told about it, she was quite vocal about wanting to be.
It's a really interesting role that I really like, that I can learn so much more about how digital marketing works. So this will be for a class that will be held later on. I'm actually checking through the slides to make sure everything is in perfect condition.
She's been transitioning to the new role and it's been 3 months. Soon we will meet her and then see her progress. And then let's see if she can actually move permanently to this role. We need to make the transition as quick as possible because they are impatient. They need to do everything quickly.
Gen Zs are impatient. Some recruiters say Gen Zs take the cake when it comes to job hopping.
I think for Gen Z, and employers should be very afraid because they do spend a lot of time training up, investing into that individual, and then say if they leave 6 months later, a lot of that time and effort and resources have been wasted because the return on that investment is not there just yet.
They are looking towards career growth, how a job can, give them satisfaction. So if managers don't change, sooner or later they will just leave the job and people will term them as not being loyal. But in fact, it's not. They are not being managed in an appropriate way. Millennials, they don't expect you to give feedback so promptly, whereas Gen Z, they expect you to give them feedback instantly. Praises is equivalent to Instagram likes. They feel happy when they have a lot of Instagram likes. So same thing, they feel happy when they receive a lot of praises.
Still to come, the moment of reckoning.
This is your final exams and I hope you studied well.
I'm really, really nervous.
It's been a while since my last interview. Let's see what happens. It's really nerve-wracking.
Hashtag crunch time.
Good morning, guys. Finally, this is your last day. This is your final exams and I hope you studied well.
It's Jericho's final exams.
Passing grade is 90, allowable mistakes 13. So please, before you jot down your answer, think twice. Okay, good luck. Ready? Joy.
So the final exam is composed of all that we learned from day 1 of the training until now. I'm really, really nervous because it's like a 2-hour exam. If you fail, it will really be terrible for me, for my batchmates, because it's one step closer to your dream as a cabin crew.
Time's up. All papers in front, please.
I worked really, really hard to reach this milestone. And I think when I signed that contract, that is the start of my working career. Really looking forward for my first ever commercial flight. Finally, it's over. So the hours of work would be, depending on the scheduling, sometimes 2 a.m. flight, 7 p.m. flight, 10 p.m., 4-hour duty, 6-hour duty, 12-hour duty, really different. Now, to be honest, I'm not afraid with these hours. 14? Did you even study?
I don't think so.
Yeah, but it's really hard, it's really difficult. we can be deployed or placed in any parts or provinces in the Philippines. I'm still young, so I'm looking forward to be placed anywhere. And I think it's a new adventure, so I think I will enjoy it.
Great news for bosses. Just like Jericho, other Gen Zs don't mind long, odd hours or having to move. More than any other working generation, they are willing to relocate for a better job. They'll work weekends and nights for a better salary. It's fingers crossed for Shania too, who hopes her hard work in school will pay off. She's bagged an interview for an internship.
I'm nervous. It's been a while since my last interview because I think easily 6 months back. But it feels good to see familiar faces around in terms of age group. I'm excited to go in for this interview because it's a digital media agency and it's an advertising kind of a platform and it's in my line. But let's see what happens. It's really nerve-wracking. So what's making me work really hard is knowing for the fact that it is going to be difficult. There is an economic slowdown. But what you have to realize is if you know the times are bad, you can't be choosy. Hi. This is Neha. That's it. Ready for the interview? I guess so. In college, we've been told the more of internships you have your CV, it just helps you stand out and companies look for work experience. Everyone's really focused and determined and kind of knows what they want to do in life. We're very well aware that you can't, just chill or think everything's going to come to you.
So if you can actually tell us something beyond your CV, let us know the real you, kind of.
Growing up, I always wanted to do something in the media field and being with event management and advertising has just made me realize that I'm on the right track.
I think they are one of the hardest working generations out there because they do know how competitive it is. I'd say a big part of why they are that hardworking is because of the recession in 2008. They'd be about 13, 14 years old. They're in the teenage years where they're becoming more conscious, especially of the world around them and how it all comes together.
Millennials, they go through a cycle of good economy as well as the not so good economy. Whereas Gen Z, they go through a very difficult period whereby there's economic crisis, there's very slow growth in the economy, job markets are very tight, they know that they have to work hard. Then they know that, okay, then I'll have this kind of money.
Gen Zs are a hard-working bunch. It's been a full day at the office, but that doesn't stop Jolene from making her way to a very important class.
So for 2 years now, every Tuesday and Thursday, I'm actually here rushing from work for my dance class. It's around 6 o'clock now, and I'm going home at 10 o'clock, but it's really fun to be doing this.
Fun for sure, but it's more than just having a good time.
1, 2, 3, and 4. Good.
I would actually like to teach people how to dance as a side job. Assuming I have the certification for a dance instructor, for extra income, definitely, why not? Yeah, because money is very important for people our generation. I think employers should let us do that even though we have a full-time job because it's the passion. It helps both ways. It drives us, it motivates us to be doing our job well because we are doing what we like at the same time also. Happy Marketer actually have a very flexible work timing. So let's say I'm dancing very late at night and then the next day, if I don't have a meeting or anything, I can actually go to office slightly later. As long as my work is done, they are actually cool with it.
I do a lot of events in college and out of college, and for that I use a lot of props which I keep here on my terrace. Masquerade theme parties, Batman versus Superman, pom-poms. Apart from events in college, I also work outside college and do these gigs and events. It could be a birthday party, a corporate event, or even a flea festival. It's fun for me and I enjoy doing it, so I definitely want to continue it when I start work. It would definitely put me in a fix if my boss wasn't okay with me doing side hustles and gigs like this. So I think that's a balance and a negotiable argument to be put forward.
So the most common that my clients that employ Gen Zers use is a non-compete clause that kind of says, look, You're more than free to do your side hustle, but it shouldn't be in direct competition with what I do. Say if I do run an online makeup business and then you kind of have a tutorial program on YouTube that's advertising competitors' makeup, that's gonna clearly be an issue. But if you're doing something, maybe creating like tassels for like iPhones, you can say, okay, well that's different enough, so there's no conflict of interest. I think not only should employers get used to it, I think they should almost see it as a plus point, right? That tells me a lot about that person, right? That tells me this person is entrepreneurial, they're a go-getter, they're a risk taker.
Palex sees side hustles as a big plus. A quarterly bazaar allows staff to indulge in a side gig. Jericho has cleared his exams and he's giving it a shot.
I'm a graduate of Fine Arts. I studied for 4 years so I don't want to put waste on my parents' investments to me. I want to make sure I still create things that I studied for, like portraits, animations, video editing.
Once I fly, I still want to continue my passion, so this is best of both worlds. I'm working as a cabin crew and I'm still sharing my artwork and how I express myself to other people. Hello, ma'am. Portraits.
For me, this side business is really helpful because if I would sell some artwork, it would give me a good amount of cash. That cash could pay for my rent, food, and also help my family.
Millennials may be into side hustles as well, but I'm seeing it more and more with Gen Zs. I mean, multitasking is not a problem with them. If we let our cabin crew engage in activities outside of what they're doing in our company, they actually become more engaged with what they're doing for us. I mean, stopping them from doing this, it's counterproductive, in my experience.
Sadly, I haven't sold anything today, but there's still other days to sell. I hope they will see my flyers and ask for commissions or anything that is listed here.
Looks like Jericho will have many more chances ahead.
Several weeks of training, but now I can contract sign. Still hoping for the best.
I'm going in for my review now and I'm hoping all the best and I get good feedback. Wish me luck.
Heads buried in their phones, Gen Zs love their social media. Selfie after selfie, post after post. It appears they are
self-absorbed,
self-indulgent,
zombies, immature.
definitely self-absorbed.
wrong. Dig deeper, and this is a generation with a big heart.
So I'm currently on my way to Sevadan Special School. It's a special school for mentally challenged children and I've been working with them for over a year now. A few things I've done over the years in college. We were part of the social involvement program, which is where you had to go in an orphanage home, in a children's mentally challenged school, in an old age home. And you're putting in those hours, working with those kids, and those small joys when they like the way you teach, or like, just spending time with them in general was really touching because you understand their perspective.
And that need to make a difference has Gen Z seeking out companies doing the same.
So employers should definitely understand that the Generation Z, we've been exposed to so many stories, cases, so much over the internet that it's kind of given us the knowledge and the backhand information. Each social issue is so different from another, and I see my generation and peers really taking to these issues. We're not the people who will just read them and be like, okay, that's happening, now what? We want to act on them.
If I'm choosing a job between two companies to work for, I'll definitely choose the one with social initiative because it's something that shapes the character of the company itself. Everything is not about money, it's also about giving back. So this is something very important for us. So for example, Happy Marketer actually did this Health Max Challenge, a charity thing that helps the children's education. Another initiative was that we went to different community centers and we actually teach them how to build their resume and how to find a job.
So employers have to care about caring as much as Gen Zs do. For instance, Remember that digital firm looking into Shania's internship? They've had to do a Gen Z reboot.
We have nearly 50% of our employees who are Gen Zs. So basically, they always look for things which are a little different, which have some kind of social angle to it also. Whenever we throw a party, Gen Zs would never be really interested if it was just a normal party. But if you definitely had a social angle to it, they'll be excited about it. So, for example, when we did a Valentine's Day celebration, we went out and we gave candy bars, ice cream bars to people on the road. Policemen, bus conductors, people like traffic police who are on the road day in and day out. It gave them the sense that they were doing something big. They have all these social networks connecting them to people. But at the same point of time, it is also known to be one of the most loneliest generations. For them to feel happy, this was one of the best ways to give happiness. Another thing that we have been doing is when people are really tired, when they're doing a lot of work, we call masseuses to give them a lovely spa, but not any masseuses, they are visually impaired. If it was just another spa day, I don't think so the Gen Zs would be that interested, but they will definitely go for this because they feel that they're contributing in some or the other way.
It's the same for our Gen Z in Manila. Jericho's hoping to sign on for social initiatives organized by PalX.
Volunteering and social work is really important for me because I remember my college years, I volunteered for a program in UNICEF where we clean schools, paint schools, and also do coastal cleanups. And PalX has the same program. It's important for companies to have programs to make sure that the company cares for the people, not just creating money. I'm looking forward to volunteer or join that program.
And Jericho will soon be able to do that. Having aced his exams, he's ready to seal the deal.
I'm really excited yet really nervous because several weeks of training, but still now I can contract sign. I'm really happy and excited. Ikaw na po mag.
Congratulations. Thank you. So right now what we're going to do is let you read the contract.
I'm gonna work really hard, especially now in my probation period. I'll make sure to have no infractions, to never be late.
Are you ready to sign the contract?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Great, congratulations.
Thank
you. You may do so.
My goal is to be part of Philippine Airlines. PAL Express is more on domestic destinations, and the Philippine Airlines are the international flag carrier. That means international destinations. That means bigger salary. So I think that's my ultimate goal.
Contract signed, flying in 3 days.
Well done, Jericho. Back in Singapore, a crucial meeting for Jolene as well.
So I've actually been in this job for 3 months now for my previous job, and I'm actually transiting over. I'm going in for my review now, and I'm hoping all the best and I get good feedbacks. I really don't know what to expect, and I hope to fully transit into this new role. So wish me luck. Hi guys.
So, what do you think your performance for the past 3 months?
I really don't know what will it be because it's my first time doing this job also, so I don't know if it's good, if it's bad. But I'm more than willing to be putting more of the new role into what I'm doing now. I may be a bit more busy, but because I can multitask so much, I don't mind to actually take up more work.
So we just had a 3 months appraisal with Jolene. In this role, you need to have someone with very, very energetic. They need lots of multitasking. She actually already complete all of the advanced certificates that we tasked her, and also trying to improve her public speaking skills. So with all of this, progress for the last 3 months, I think we are quite confident that you can actually move to the training department. Well, how do you feel?
Yeah, man. No more old job. I love it. Yeah, but really, thank you guys for giving me this opportunity. It was really boring doing the old job.
What I like about having Gen Z in the team is they're quite vocal. As a manager, it always helps to understand what they're feeling rather than just taking decisions and following through, right? Jolene speaks her mind, so whether it's good or bad, she's never shy of sharing it, and that helps quite a lot.
Thank you guys so much.
No worries.
Way to go, Jolene. And let's not forget our Gen Z in Mumbai. Shania's about to find out if she's made an impression as well.
Oh my God, I got the internship. It says, Dear Shania, congratulations and welcome to the Octobus family. I'm so looking forward to start this. Mom! Hey, I got the internship with Octobus.
Seriously? Well done.
It is a small digital marketing company, and I look at it as, since it's smaller, I'd be involved more. There'd be a lot of more in-depth experiences I'd get out of it. Just learning from internships, it gives me a clearer picture of what I want to do ahead. The feeling of being able to do things on your own and that independence and providing for yourself, it kind of gives you this sense of like feeling that, okay, you know, I am on the right path, and soon if I put in more hard work, I should get there, like wherever I plan to be.
Today, Jericho's long-nurtured dream finally takes off. He's moments away from his first ever flight as cabin crew.
So my mom's calling. I should pick it up. Mom.
Oh, natatakot ka ba?
Oo, natatakot. Sobrang nervous ako.
Huwag ka nervous, kaya mo yan.
Oo.
Saan papunta?
Tacloban, Manila to Tacloban.
Malapit lang yun.
1 hour and 20 minutes.
Lapit lang yan.
Oo nga po. Nakakaba.
Mag-pray ka lang.
Okay, dasal nga lang po.
Okay, sige. Okay, bye-bye.
Bye-bye. After a long month of training, I'm finally here for my first commercial flight. So, hoping for the best. So we will be assigned in different places in the aircraft. So like the forward section for the business class and the aft section for the economy. I'm worried about for me not to do my flight routine well, and I hope I'll do it step by step and serve the business class properly. Super nervous, to be honest. Bye. Thank you. Bye.
Look, Gen Zs, they have my vote. I really think they can make it happen because they are the future, so we have no choice but to believe in them.
Gen Z is definitely people who are dedicated, determined, hardworking, and very talented, and open and flexible to work around different hours, different projects. Definitely having the zeal and enthusiasm to take on each task with their full heart.
If organizations don't change, if management style don't change, they will be out of this business. Things are changing so rapidly. Technology is changing every day. So it's a challenge, but this is learning phase. So I embrace it.
So I should create an intake A-level file. I think bosses, they wouldn't be like, hey, you know, at my time, we do it this way. But I would be like, at my time, we are doing everything digitally. Bosses might want to be ready for this when Gen Z actually comes in to work with them. And also the multitasking. We are focused, but we are focused on doing different things at the same time. And it doesn't mean that the quality of the job is not there.
At the Palex home base, Jericho has returned from his flight. It's been an eventful day that's about to end on an even higher note.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Dito ka sa Japan. Pero sabi nila.
Huh?
Thank you. Thank you.
Happy ka?
Oh, nakakaiyak.
I'm so proud of him.
I'm so shocked. I have no idea. I'm really happy to see my mom because for months I haven't seen any of my family. So the flight is really different. I learned so much, especially about the flight routine. I no problems with the passengers. I can handle the passengers really good. I think I did great. Go Gen Z!
On the next episode of We Are Gen Z, our Gen Zs show us how they
Chill! Hey! Oh, yeah!
And spend our money.